Yeah, and hey, it's a little bit of a Jubei thing, right? I think in most situations, we've seen him take that clockwork. Don't want to say piggybacking off of the NA backside of players like Husky, but when you talk about clockwork, usually Husky's the one to come to mind in our region. But I think that makes the most sense, especially if you can just put Jubei on the clockwork, you send Maliburgos onto Pugna, as we usually talk about, you keep that balance in the lanes where you can't really afford to have those awkward double melee, double range setups unless you really want to try and push an advantage. But it just feels weird at this stage of Dota. It feels like losing that balance certainly forces you to play a little bit differently. But that's where, man, oh man, Mr. Machine are thinking about their bans here, where DogChamp have just been spirit out. I think it's very easy to ban versus Shaggy, and so big reason why they usually pick his hero in the first phase. I just hope that DogChamp aren't going to, or rather, Mystery Machine aren't going to feel the pain of not having their mid laner on that S tier hero. Because we talk about Shaggy, and a big reason why I think they qualified was because he got to work teams on his Storm Spirit. Now that that's not available to him in an opportunity where it was available to them, I just hope he can spin some matchup in his favor.
Right, and it's especially going to look a little bit awkward here because that clockwork that they take is a hero that was gonna be available pretty much to the very end of this draft. That's not a hero that really receives any consideration for the bans. So on the one hand, if you take your core that early, you leave yourself open to counter picks. On the other, if you don't take it that early, then DogChamp will simply ban a lot of those options away. And they do have one last ban here as well. The Storm and the Ember were kind of the prime suspects for them, so they could afford to maybe spread this out a little bit. Doesn't have to be another mid option here. They could take a stab maybe at the carry pool for Double King, but Mystery Machine had kind of been handling that on their own side as well with the PL and the Dusa being taken away.
Yeah, at the same time, only Sand King has been taken out. In terms of offlaners, that pool is pretty wide open. I think that's where DogChamp could be looking to select something that Tib might want to play. Uh, at the same time, I think it'd kind of be funny if they just ban a Void Spirit as well, even though Void Spirit takes a whole bunch of net worth, especially compared to his better halves, of course, that being the Ember and the Storm. But at the same time, you've already got the Mars, a hero that's been first phase banned in a lot of other series for the very good reason that if you take out that Sand King in the first phase and teams still are certainly willing to do so, you just have the best Blink Initiator you could ask for, aside from maybe DK. But as we've already seen in the DK's failures today, you need more than just a DK stun. You need someone else to actually go in with you. I think even in the game that Infinity won with Mariano on that DK, he was never the spotlight. He was always playing to another man's initiation. Of course, when you got a player like Lumiere, it's nice to have you in reserve, but certainly that hero is not looking as good as I think we've seen him look in the past.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the DK is just kind of normalizing in terms of the results. It's a good baseline, but you don't often see him push significantly further ahead than that. So teams might drift away from it a little bit. DogChamp, speaking of drifting away, do go for an offlane ban, and that Necro is a hero that Tib in particular had picked up a couple of
Mhm.
times, at least in the Phase 1 matches that we saw from Mystery Machine. So, not a bad ban. You take away some durability, some lockdown as well. So now, if DogChamp are going to be looking to put Ryoya on that sort of tempo setting hero, a la Queen of Pain, let's say, then there's a little bit less lockdown to deal with on the opposing side.
Yeah, and really no reserve time. DogChamp
Hmm.
have really spent a lot of this phase thinking they should just lead with their 4 position here. Um,
Another Wyvern.
okay, I mean, really nice hero. Versus I want to say the Clockwork, just because you can fly, you still end up getting at least pushed back once if you do have to fly out of those cogs, but. That's your counter initiation. That's your ability to trade ultimates. Do need to be careful though, especially in the past. I've seen the Mars Wyvern before. You curse on top of an arena, your arena on top of a curse. It doesn't really feel all too nice. And we do get to see Wyvern versus Pugda, which I think is a very interesting scenario where unless he gets that Aether Lens, he will be very close to a target. But picking Wyvern into Pugda is also a little bit scary because anyone you do end up cursing, unless you get the Pugda in that lockdown, he is just going to get decrept. So it's kind of a risk you have to play around at all times. But that's where the Rubik has thrown everything out the window. We've got a few too many supports, guys, don't you think?
Yeah,
Things are a little
let's.
bit weird now. Pugna mid?
I mean, That's the one that I think makes the most sense here. Otherwise, we're looking at some sort of 3 clockwork, and those days are long gone. That's years in the past. So, well, okay. There goes the 3 clockwork. They'll take the Beastmaster with that next selection. So, yeah, it looks like it is going to have to be Pugna who takes up that core role, and this is a very interesting maneuver now, because Mystery Machine have shored themselves up with a little bit more in the way of lockdown, but so much pressure is going to be put onto Double King in terms of his carry hero here, because Pugna can do some nice magic damage, but that's once he's built himself up, and the rest of the lineup isn't really going to be able to back him up all that much.
Ooh.
Speaking of damage, they get it on the other side. That PA pick is a little bit gross right now.
Yeah, usually I feel like if you're Mystery Machine, you would have loved to pick the Beastmaster after seeing either the mid or the carry, so you get to ban out a little bit too much. And in all fairness, they do get to pick up the Beastmaster here after seeing both supports, which is, a lot, not a lot of luxury you have in terms of that, but just getting immediately countered by the carry. It's a little bit rough, At the very least, they didn't troll you. Troll is like the number one counter when it comes to Beastmaster in lane, but usually that only comes out whenever you also see the 4 being that 4 position. But PA, I mean, it's a very safe game. It's going to be very difficult to shut this PA down. At the very least, Battle Fury, right? You're going to be slowing down the pace of the game a little bit on DogChamp. It's where Mystery Machine are certainly going to be able to make those earlier fights happen just a little bit easier here. And speaking of Troll, banned out because Double King is in the server. The man who will always play Troll, no matter how bad a Troll game it is. But at the same time, thinking of other Double King heroes, Medusa's already taken out. You can't really pick all too many illusion carries because you're playing versus a PA who will just kind of cleave straight through you. It's kind of a liability you don't want to play around. Is the Wraith King what they choose for him? I don't know. Nothing really feels all too great. Not like they can pick Faceless Void either because they are going to be playing into that Wyvern. Not the greatest selection, I think, for Double King here. No matter what they pick to kind of shore up their team fight, and Mr. Machine surely are lacking team fight. I don't think it's going to be the number one answer here. I was going to bring up the Razor, but DogChamp beat me to it. They know exactly what they don't want to play against, and I think more specifically, they know exactly what Double King wants to be for his team, and they're just not letting him have it.
Now, I don't know. They're in a tough situation because, like you said, there's so many roles now that this Double King hero will need to fill. He needs to be relatively tanky. You need to do a high amount of damage. You need to have some teamfight contributions as well. And, oh, by the way, you also need to be able to match pace with a Phantom Assassin who's almost certainly going Battle
I
Fury.
miss the
And
T-Beam.
that's most of those needs met. Maybe not quite all of them, at least not early on, but maybe the best that they could have done in that situation. But now all of a sudden, you said that PA, if she goes for the Battle Fury, is going to sort of slow up the tempo for DogChamp. With a TB on the other side, that's sort of evened itself out a little bit now, and the Pango coming out for them as well. That will be a mid Pango, means you do have that sort of playmaking, tempo pushing option for Ryota to work.
Yeah, and hey, as we talk about with TBs, that's your spell to throw out in the team fight. That's where you meta and you are stronger than any other hero into the game. Certainly make yourself a little bit more susceptible to, getting played around in your cooldowns. But I think it was one of the only choices they could have gone for here. And it certainly is not the best choice. But at the very least, when you talk about Pango, or when you talk about TB, sorry, you are going to be able to push out those waves as we keep on talking about. The split push is a huge aspect of the hero, and that's where the Beastmaster and the Pugna should be able to capitalize on that pretty easily. But that's also where they need to play so perfectly around this Coliseum and around this Rolling Thunder. If they give DogChamp a few too many successful team fights, I think Mystery Machine could really start to fall behind. And we've seen Terrorblades get stuck in their base, still finding farm. Not really the rest of their team finding all too much, but I think that's where DogChamp can very easily isolate Double King and kind of ignore the rest of the lineup. It's where the rest of Mystery Machine, they not only have to have successful lanes, but the rest of their heroes, the 4 core, just need to have such successful rotations around those early objectives. It's why that mid Pugna is really seated in that 5 position a lot more times, just because it does feel like you're missing a little bit of a tool here on the Mystery Machine side. Don't have that secondary initiator. A lot of this pressure is going to fall really onto both the Rubik and to that Beastmaster Roar. I don't want to say Jubei's not going to have less than an impact in this game, but it's a very difficult game. Once you get into the middle of that team fight from DogChamp, I feel like you're most likely going to die if you're this Clockwork. But again, it's really going to come down to whether or not they can work around those cooldowns from both the Pango and the Mars. If they can really work them out of DogChamp and then escape, it's a lot of time the Mr. Machine can farm in between. But my issue is just how they're going to play around those timings.
And it's not going to be easy for them, but they do have a path to success. But well, for Mystery Machine in particular, their 1-5 record does not instill the highest amount of confidence. But hey, maybe this is the turning point, right? Maybe this is where they sort of pivot in their schedule and start getting themselves together with execution on a lineup like this one. So we shall see. Not quite yet, though. Actually, we do have ourselves a bit of a pause at the start, so not quite ready to go. I don't think this wasn't for any sort of DC issue. I think somebody said that they were dealing with a little bit of lag, but hopefully that subsides pretty quickly here.
Fingers crossed, right? Hopefully, it's not affecting any of our mid laners here, as I think both Shaggy and Ryoya should be fine. But that's our high skill matchup. That's our match where I think Shaggy could definitely get a solo kill if he's not too careful. At the same time, Pango spells do a lot of damage. If Shaggy gets caught on the other side of the river, he is certainly vulnerable. It's also where, unfortunately, aside from filling up the bottle, Jubei should not have the largest impact on mid, where the Bane and the Wyvern certainly can make the rotation a little easier.
Okay. Rhea drops his ward, but he drops it under the vision of the Mystery Machine ward, so they should know that that's there. Don't know how quickly they're going to get an opportunity to actually deward it, but at least they have that knowledge. So a little bit of an edge for them early on, as Yaren is doing a little bit of exploring. May just check, yeah, he'll check the ward spot. Tower doesn't fire. So they know it's not on this side of the river, at least. Oh, well.
Wonderful.
They were supposed to know that it wasn't on that side of the river. Yaren throws down the sentry anyway, and I don't believe... Yeah, it's not even close to that obs on the other side.
And then Ryoya starts killing his own ward, and then everybody's so sad. It's just... Welcome to Dota, everybody.
Jubei, be a little careful here. Slow him down initially, but Speed didn't really have anything to latch the clockwork onto if he did go for the spear, so...
Dude, welcome to Dota 2, man. The best game on Earth.
Oh, I love that voice line.
Ask
But
a wyvern
yeah, a little bit of damage early. Nothing too serious. Speed didn't have to skill up anything, so if he still wants the rebuke at level 1 just to affect the lane a little bit more, he is going to be able to do so. And well, up against the TB, yeah, that rebuke may be a little bit more necessary for him. If you can get a spear stun onto Double King, great. They can harass him with a little bit of damage between the spear and the brain sap, but feels like in a lot of circumstances Double King is not going to be lining up like that.
Yeah, and I mean, of course, after this game, gotta check Speed's YouTube channel. You know, see Mars versus TB. Oh my God, laning 0 last hits TB. You know, the clickbait's gonna be there. But I think Speed maintaining this pressure, it's gonna be fairly nice. And I think that's also where Bloody Nine being down here is just a little bit more of a robust hero to play versus Jubei. Not to mention, once you do have that battery assault, all it takes is a nightmare from B9, and then all of that aggression from the clockwork is pretty much going to evaporate. It's where DK is certainly going to get contested much more in this lane.
Yo, if you're Ryoya, you're a little bit pissed off right now. The flare that Jubei just sent out, he sent it mid, not even into his own lane, so you're just sort of taking strays from the opposite end of the map. That is, the nice thing about this flare is he'll send another one out. I mean, if you can help out Shaggy, I guess it makes sense, but it's a little bit weird.
I mean, is 60 damage really gonna change the tide? Who knows? Maybe.
Would be something. If he could somehow snipe out a kill here, that would be an all-time fun play, but not a fun play up top here for Tib, as he is getting pressured up. Stonebank jumps in onto him. They get the slow down from the Arctic Burn, and Tib will fall. Mario Burgos should be okay. He's got a full stick there, so don't want to jump in onto him, but they really don't need to at this point. That's what they wanted. First blood into their hands, a kill for Stonebank early. Might need to pass that salve. Yep, there you go. Pass that salve over from Yaren, and solid start to the lane for DogChamp. Get your Phantom Assassin going as much as you possibly can, and that is just about enough for that early Orb of Corrosion to be finished off.
Yeah, and it's where Maui Burgos specifically needs to be even more careful, but it's also just having the PA versus that Beastmaster. It's always going to be very annoying to deal with. Your hero is not all too strong. Once you get the Helm of Iron Will, things stabilize a little bit more, but until then, there is that struggle, and, well, yep, TP forced out of the Rubik. You're not going to see that Rubik for a while now, and definitely not in the mid lane. So if they want to, could see DogChamp go for some early rotations now that they know that the Rubik has been effectively removed from the board.
Well, they've changed their, they've made it so he can't sort of go anywhere else, but he's not backing out of his own lane. Pops a salve, gets right back in there, and he's at least going to try and make some sort of play as he does go for the lift onto Stonebank. That stuns up Yaren momentarily, but Tib, I mean, without his boar, he just doesn't have enough sort of slow or damage to make that play happen. So it's a nice maneuver from Maui Burgos, but not a high impact one. This, though, could get a little bit interesting back mid. Shaggy, well, had a bit of an angle coming in there behind Ryoya, but not really able to take advantage of it. The Pugna is kind of slow right now with that.
Yeah, just not able to really move anywhere. Ryoya gets his opponent's bounty rune like Shaggy just did before. No really, I don't know, not feeling the effect from either side here. As well as, I think Shaggy not getting a point up in the Nether Ward, just trying to be annoying with the Decrepify, but in doing so, Ryoya really isn't getting denied all too much as you'd typically like to see from your Pugna, just because having both nukes, it is very hard to contest him for the CS. That's a nice deny, though.
All up top, Tib. A little bit of trouble once again. Stonebank, though, doesn't really have the mana to either jump or throw the dagger at this point. So Tib will live, but he just continues to be bullied in this lane. At least he's going to get a little bit underneath his own tower here. So experience-wise, he'll be okay, but this is kind of how we expected this lane to go, but it's still just rough for Tib to handle.
Yeah, really, I'm surprised we didn't see him get at least 1 point up in the axes. Just because he is not getting able to do very much here. It's really just kind of a bully setup in both of the side lanes, I think. Like his back bottom speed is also just kind of doing whatever he wants. He's got 10 CS up on Double King, all real CS as well. Not too many pulls going off. They're going on Yaren, though.
Top Yaren gets taken down. Stonebank, he's got to deal with that boar, and he might not be able to. He'll kill it off, but that means he's still stuck in the fight. There's a second boar continuing to dish out damage onto him, and yeah, Stonebank really doesn't have any sort of play other than just trying to sort of dance his way past him as he jumps to the creep wave, and that might just be enough. You've got Yaren coming back in. He'll pass up.
Nice.
Immediately canceled salve. They drop the ward, so he has the vision. That is fantastic play from the Rubik there. Still won't get them the kill, but your PA can't reset.
Yeah, it's a lot of time now that Stonebank has to effectively play scared, even though he's certainly going to get a lot of these last hits still underneath his own tower, but it's the nifty plays like that give you a little bit of an advantage, as in the mid lane. Both of these players hit their level 6. Could see some action pretty soon here.
TP's in. Not even really going for the bottle recharge, and interestingly enough, he doesn't have a point up in the cogs, so you won't really have that trap up against a Pango. Not really sure how effective that would be anyway, but has arrived. He'll try and stand guard over the rune. Ryoya, though, is going to force him, to take it with the Rolling Thunder, and Ryoya, you don't have a whole lot of health here. This is feeling a little bit risky. He is going to back himself away with the last few seconds of that Rolling Thunder, and should be fine. His teammate, though, may not be. Jubei did get onto Bloody 9 with that hasted move speed. There's going to be the Decrep into the Nether Blast, and Shaggy is going to be the one to pick up a relatively easy kill, and now my audio's, there we go. Audio was a little glitch. That life drain just kept playing the sound for a few extra seconds, but it'll go away eventually.
Well, same here, in the game studio, as Double King gets solo killed. What can you do?
Don't even need an arena for that one, just sort of catching him out. Jubei's a little bit too far to help, and oh, it's going to work out perfectly. You lose Bane in your east side jungle, but you get a kill onto the opposing carry, and it's not too early to be concerned, I would say. We saw what happened the last time that TB suffered a couple of early deaths. He really wasn't able to recover as quickly as they needed, as Yaren is in some trouble up top, dropping low. Cold Embrace is available, so he is going to be able to buy himself some time, while Stonebank cleans up that first kill.
Oh,
Takes down
Tib.
Molly Burgos. Tib's going to get hit up by a crit or two. The Thunder Blast comes in. That's going to force a roar. That's potentially going to keep him alive, or maybe not even, actually. And if he goes down here, it's just going to feel so terrible to use the ult and still fall, but that boar, just enough slow. Stonebank can't go all the way in. But now, this TP's a little bit awkward. High Shaggy's here, that's great. Maybe he could pick off Yaren, but since they already used the roar defensively, they're definitely not going to be able to get onto Stonebank, so they just have to settle for the support kill.
Yeah, and I was wondering when Shaggy would make that rotation just because of how successful his own mid lane has gone. He's really just been trading a lot of his mana for the HP of the Pango, which has stopped Ryoya from making plays, but it's unfortunate. I think that TP has to come, though, because otherwise Stonebank, being level 6, this is where the lane gets very difficult for Tib, and of course not having the Roar, he is certainly a target, and a very easy target for Ryoya, who is rotating at that same speed. Don't think they scouted him out either, even though they are very scared, and seeing a support take over mid and getting that scan out, I think Mystery Machine have a really good grasp of what's going on here, but the Invis Rune, oh, it's...
Oh no! The Rolling Thunder. They get a Nightmare onto Molly Burgos, so Tib is alone for the moment, but this is not going fantastically. They might still get the kill, but it's going to come at a cost. Blade 9 goes down, and Stonebank, he's just going all in for this. He's going to die for this. Now Ryoya all of a sudden is left to fight by himself. 2-for-1 trade so far in the favor of Mystery Machine, and it's looking like it might just be 3-for-1 because Ryoya swashbuckles into the tower. That was very, very awkward in terms of the way they initiated that fight, and you can see the results. Tib for 3 is fantastic for Mystery Machine.
Yeah, I suppose having the Satyr Tormentor throwing out a lot of those Hadoukens just ended up being more damage than they thought they could get. But I think also Ryoya canceling his role a little prematurely there. I feel like he could have gotten at least one more bounce onto Tib, and then that kills a lot cleaner. Your PA doesn't have to overextend, and it's not the nicest feeling in the world to rotate your PA out of a death after losing the tower so convincingly as well. Because very easily now, TMM can just walk mid with Roar, maybe Nether Blast the tier 2 a little bit. It's where DogChamp are certainly doing a number on Jubei in the mid lane, though. But this isn't going to result in tower pressure. Don't think they can really stick around after the fact here to put too much damage, which is where TMM certainly have much better heroes at doing that exact job.
It's a nice kill, but it's only going to be that kill. Of Speed, though, he can catch up here. There's the arena. The spear doesn't hit, though, and now I don't know if Speed can really do this. He's going to start backing off already. He's hoping Double King chases, but TB's not going to take the bait there. He knows there has to be someone else on that high ground, and just falls back, continues to farm. Speed will watch him, but with that arena down, there's really not a whole lot that he can do now. But they push in like they wanted to try. That just doesn't really result in much. Molly Burgos stole himself the Arctic Burn. That honestly could matter. If you get that little bit of extra ability for the Rubik to get into position, the telekinesis isn't maxed out yet, so you don't have the longer cast range, so if he can just fly his way in there, he might be able to make some sort of play, like potentially catching out Bloody 9, but doesn't have enough damage to find that kill by himself. Meanwhile, mid, Ryoya, well, tried to roll his way through. Tib is able to hit him up with the Roar, and they will turn that fight around. Yaren, though, does get off the Winter's Curse, so maybe Tib will fall in exchange. Yes, he will. Jubei flies in with the hook shot, and they will take down Speed almost immediately. Shaggy still able to hit him with high levels of magic damage, so Tib does fall, but they'll turn it into a 2-for-1, 3-for-1 potentially, with Bloody 9 getting just chunked down. That range drop was useful for the first bit of magic damage, but the second will do him in.
Yeah, DogChamp are not playing too hot. I mean, they make that play really reaching, not respecting where Tib's positioning was at all, and sure, they do end up killing the Beastmaster, but what was a bootsless Beastmaster just walking up and getting the roll regardless, and more kills in the mid lane. It's just is a little bit too much. Not to mention, they get Double King involved a little bit. He gets to stick around for the meta gold. It just does not feel like this is what DogChamp wants to be happening in this game. Not to mention, Ryoya's really started to slow down on this Pango. You're not going to see that 11, 12-minute Diffusal Blade coming out. He barely has half of it in his inventory. I certainly need to start getting some cleaner plays going on DogChamp's side. They really are whiffing right now.
And you sort of said it yourself, DogChamp aren't really showing that full level of respect. It well and truly feels like they're approaching these fights like the Pugna is a support rather than a core. They don't really sort of focus him down like a hero that can just provide that nuke damage, and it's been kind of turning against them pretty consistently. But now Ryoya is really trying to force the issue here. He is going to roll his way onto Molly Burgos. High Shaggy is quickly going to heal his teammate up, and Can't really
Well,
do a whole
B9's
lot
dead.
here, but yeah, there's the roar into a quick and easy kill. B9 down. Yaren is potentially going to get caught out here as well. They'll hit him with the decrypt. The life
Oh,
drain
no.
into the nether blast. Yaren is trying to run. He's not going to get away with the telekinesis keeping him in place, and Shaggy's able to pick up the double. They find both of those kills, and now Ryoya is... Excuse me, not Ryoya, that's Shaggy. Wrong shade of yellow on that TP, but your Pugna TP's onto the outpost, and they're going to look for another opportunity here. Pushing their way into the west, or excuse me, east side jungle. This
Oh, they're gonna
is
see him.
still not an easy kill, but they're going to give it a go. There's going to be the hook shot in. They get the trap with the cogs, and okay, that was much easier than I thought it would be. My bad. They just absolutely tear through Stonebank. Jubei may be the sacrificial lamb here, but got yourself a kill onto the PA. You get high Shaggy just really rolling along even further at 7-0 and 5. You'll sacrifice Jubei for that.
Yeah, kill Stonebank. Really, Mystery Machine right now are playing the map incredibly intelligently. I think all of their rotations have been very quick, very clean. You know, DogChamp expects the Pugna to stick around the top lane, put pressure on with Tib, but Tib does the pressure by himself. They're also just doing a really good job of seeing who's the aggressive hero. Now, Double King does look like he might die here. Okay.
Shaggy tried, but that's a level 1 life
Uh-oh.
drain. Not quite enough. B9, this is an interesting attempt. Give him credit for it, but points for the effort are the only points he's going to get there, as he will get taken down. But much like the Jubei trade, you are perfectly okay with that. You got in onto that Terrorblade once again, his second death of the game, and you only lose really your position 5 support for it. So they're going to be okay with those results. Meanwhile, for Stonebank, trying to catch back up here, close to the Battle Fury, and once he gets that, he's not that far behind. Take a look net worth-wise, he's maybe 200 or 300 behind Tib, but the Battle Fury is going to sort of rectify that pretty quickly, and well, that's something Mystery Machine will have to be a little bit wary of. They're doing so well right now, but they need to keep that pressure on. They're doing exactly that with the jumping onto speed. They don't quite have the speed to catch up to him, but now Shaggy with the haste rune is going to be able to finish that play. So would have loved to hold that for a little bit longer, but he will continue the chase. They find the kill onto the offlaner. The problem is they lose their own offlaner elsewhere on the map, as Ryoya got a little bit of support, and it's a nice bounce back kill for your Pangolier, who should have just finished off his Diffusal Blade, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was a very expensive kill. They don't have any of their ultis, and the Stolen Grip, well, oh my goodness, Mally Burgess has been holding on to that for so long after he stole it before, and now B9 just kind of walks into a fight. They don't have ultis. They cannot do anything about this. They just need to start walking away.
That is such a strange position to be in. I understand you don't have direct vision to straight up tell you that hero's there, but they just put 3 heroes mid to kill your PA not 15 seconds ago. That is a very strange place to be sort of drifting if you're the Bane, but well, Mystery Machine, I said they had to keep the pressure on. They're doing exactly that. 17 kills in 15 minutes, so they're looking pretty impressive here. Unfortunately for Molly Burgos, I don't think he gets another Fiend's Grip off here. That should probably time out before he gets the chance, but Rubik's been making some plays. You take a look at the participation, 2, 1, and 10 for him. So 12 of the 17 kills, you've got your Rubik in there for. He's looking pretty good in terms of his net worth compared to the other supports, and Mystery Machine keep on rolling. And speaking of rolling, Ryoya, okay. Finally able to bring High Shaggy down there as he gets in with the Rolling Thunder and the Diffusal, and well, that item is a bit of a game changer, but it's going to come at a cost again. Double King alone up top. Gets himself picked off. Yarn and Stonebank make the play, so well, signs of life now from DogChamp.
Yeah, it's a little bit ugly what's happened with their map. In Tib taking over to the bottom jungle, of course, you'd love those Hawks top to scout out for Double King, who can safely farm, but Tib is making himself very farm, and in doing so, you put the TB in arguably the most dangerous spot for a Radiant hero to be in. Not the prettiest thing in the world for TMM. I think it's going to be on Shaggy's respawn that they try to reclaim another area of the map. If not, they might try for a smoke onto this bottom tower, but it feels like we need to get them back on objectives a little bit here, because DogChamp are starting to build up a little bit of speed, and with that Battle Fury done on PA, now there is that insidious timer here, but I think Yaren might go down. This looks pretty free.
Not able to get himself out of there as High Shaggy finds the kill. Trying to get another streak started for himself.
Mid.
Meanwhile, mid, yeah, Molly getting himself in trouble. Arena's there. Spear stun comes in. Well, that is Arena down, and you lose your Rubik, who maybe wasn't the highest value kill in the world, but DogChamp are making the most of some opportunities here, just finding these kills, trying to draw things out a little bit longer while your PA now takes advantage of the fact the Battle Fury has been completed.
Yeah, it's just concerning now because these trades are going to start to favor DogChamp because they've got the little items. They have the Blink on Mars, they've got the Diffusal on Pango. They're going to we'll probably look at a BKB on Stonebank, and that's really going to be the tipping point here. BKB isn't everything in this game. You know, you still have the physical damage from the Terrorblade, you still have the Primal Roar, but I think the most troublesome team fight situation that could spell out for TMM is if they have to roar early to do anything towards that Pango. Pango survives, and then they get reinitiated on by that Mars. It's something that they deeply want to avoid here, but you already see in TMM, they want to push this tier 2 tower, but hesitantly so. All it takes is a curse, all it takes is an arena, and then they're blown wide open. They'd love to kill Yarn though early. Ooh, missed hook.
That does push Yarn, that pushes Yarn away, so they are going to be able to take the tower, and Jubei kept going, actually. He gets vision onto the Winter Wyvern, traps him up inside of the cogs, Tibbs throws the axes, and Tib actually doesn't get the kill. Jubei's the one to grab it, but they got everything they wanted. Yarn's off the map for a little bit. You take the tier 2 tower. They've got a little bit of pressure onto the tier 3 as Shaggy is just going to hit it with the casual Nether Blast, and if they want to keep going here, DogChamp are the ones who will have to sort of bring more than just Ryoya to deal with this, but Mystery Machine's still feeling that that's a bit of a risk at this point, so not going to see them commit fully. What did he steal? He stole Swashbuckle. Okay. Molly, he's doing a pretty good job on this Rubik of either taking Lockdown or taking some sort of ability that gives him much more maneuverability between that and the Arctic Burn, so still able to make these contributions as Mystery Machine will push their way into the Roche Pit, and DogChamp are too split up to really contest this.
Yeah, it should just be theirs. I mean, already with the Clockwork, you have a huge advantage around the pit, just having that flying vision and the Hawks to really make it difficult for you to fight, but where does Speed get caught? Oh, Jubei.
Okay.
Quick on the draw. Perfect timed with the Roche dying as well, and actually B9. Okay, that's 2 from Roche. Not bad at all.
Couple of kills, Aegis into your Terrorblade's hands, perfectly executed, and yeah, Jubei's the one to really start all of that off. The second that TP completes, he's just hookshotting his way in, and his aim, very nice there on that play. And now Ryoya gotta be a little bit careful here. Maintain that separation. Jubei doesn't have another hook shot, but could try and chase him down, but it looks like Ryoya's going to be able to keep himself safe. At this point, though, if you're DogChamp, you're losing a lot more control of the map right now. You see Mystery Machine just pushing their way into the east side jungle, and well, there's not really a whole lot that DogChamp can do to just regroup and take a fight right now. They still need their full lineup to be respawning, and then honestly, even with that, fighting into an Aegis isn't going to be easy for them.
Yeah, and we're getting into this killer position where if DK can just stay in this area, farm out his opposing team's triangle, and then just keep pressure on 2 lanes, you can't really go anywhere if you're DogChamp, aside from where Yard is making breaks for that top lane. But, oh, Ryoya? Is he gonna get right-clicked to death? Oh my goodness. Well, Rat taken down. Now there really isn't a reason for TMM to leave. Double King needs to make an illusion head towards that mid lane, but once that wave is cut, or okay, Shaggy will deal with it. But you're not seeing TMM getting punished for TPing back solely. Shaggy was alone for a good few seconds there, and Stonebank, they'd love to kill him, but... Oh!
Jubei connects. The BKB just got delivered, so he could pop that, but look at the lockdown chain. That's beautiful. Not even a chance to pop that BKB. They get the hook, they get the cogs, they get the lift, they get the roar, they get the pushback. I mean, that's the perfect execution. They find a huge kill now, and your DogChamp, you can't really do anything. You're down your 2 significant damage dealers. Everyone else just has to try and fall back and, yes, split push some lanes.
Yeah, not the prettiest feeling in the world here, especially because they can just make their way onto this mid-tier 2. They might get a glyph in tow, but that's also where, unfortunately for Stonebank, BKB really isn't everything in this game. There are those BKB piercing disables. It really is going to be a game of push and pull, but at the same time, I feel like you need to do something if you're DogChamp pretty soon here. I don't feel like they can afford to just wait, and okay, Mali Burgos might be giving them an opportunity. Nice
Speed
arena.
got in. Arena down onto 2. They need to actually kill someone off, though. There's a Winter's Curse. That should be enough to take down Tib. Double King needs a Sunder target, but he's getting stunned up. The Rolling Thunder's going to be there. He's not going to Sunder anyone just yet because he has the Aegis, but, well, you don't have any backup right now. Maybe it would have been better to go for that Sunder, but here comes High Shaggy. The reinforcements have finally arrived. What can they find here? They're going to try and track down B9. Nightmare's going to buy a little bit of time, but shouldn't be enough. Lady 9 will fall, but Stonebank tries to make a move, gets onto Shaggy. They're going to hit him up with the Spear Stun. Double King actually sunders his teammate, but that means he's going to be taken down. And now it's up to High Shaggy to just pull this out by himself. He does get the kill onto Speed there, but...
No.
Oh, that is a hell of a crit from Stonebank as he takes that fight. Not many survivors for DogChamp, but there's no survivors for the Mystery Machine on the other side.
Well, and if DK doesn't go for that Sunder play, then Speed also doesn't die on the Mars. You know, he secured the Mars's death, but in doing so, it's just an unfortunate timing there. It felt like Shaggy could do it for a second, but a Stonebank crit will kind of ruin any hopes. But it's a pretty terrible fight for TMM. Lost Aegis, lost everyone until they get a Blink Dagger on Tib. Tib just got surrounded in the arena, lost his creeps, lost his boars, lost his life, and then they just are able to clean you up so easily. I think Shaggy did a very good job of keeping Ruoya actually plugged out of that fight after the Rolling Thunder. Wasn't really an opportunity for the Pango to make his entrance back in, and then he gets picked off, but that's where Stonebank was never forced to use his BKB early. The PA just got to hold everything for such a long period of time, and now the map calms down, and your PA with the Battle Fury is farming. It's where the lulls are really going to start to kind of tear away at TMM. Oh, mistook.
Not able to connect. BKB up on Speed. Basher up on PA. So, and like you said, these items are going to start to play a bigger and bigger role. Ryoya is almost done with the Aghanim Scepter. Has a double damage rune bottled up as well, which, well, actually, if he keeps it for himself, it's going to be just fine. I was thinking maybe for a moment you want to pass it off to the Phantom Assassin, but oh, they'll just run it this way. They get onto Molly Burgos there in the middle lane, and they will find that kill. Now they're looking for more. Bloody 9 was able to get the Fiend's Grip onto Jubei. Spear stun, pins him to pretty much the only tree in the river there, and able to find it quick too.
Yeah, and now Ryoya just finished off his Aghanim Scepter, so the Pango's gonna farm even faster. I mean, the game is starting to get very scary, all from very small plays as well. It's just the small commitment of the grip. It's just the small commit from the Mars. And Speed is certainly by himself right now. They'd love to find an opportunity onto him, especially if the Pugna can keep chase, but it's where they're playing in the dark with 2 supports dead, and they do not want to feed any more cores into their opponents, but in doing so, don't really get all too much farm off the map either. It feels like they want to smoke on TMM as soon as their supports are alive right now, and I completely agree with them. Kind of need to get themselves in an area of the map, or D-ward, because right now they're sitting under so much DogChamp vision.
The Molly Burgos comes back up. He is the one with the smoke, but they actually get the initiation they want beforehand. They don't need the smoke as they get onto Speed. That is a lot of cast range from the Rubik. With that Aether Lens, he's able to just hit from basically his own side of the river. They find the pickoff, and now they'll go for the smoke play. Full 5-man as well. Barreling their way down the middle lane. What can they find? If they could get onto Stonebank, this would be massive, but do they have the angle? It looks like they do. Boys. There we go. Jubei sees. There's going to be the hook. The BKB did get popped, though, so Stonebank, he's just going to turn around and start looking for the kill, but look at Shaggy, able to get in there with the decrypt. Stonebank tries to TP out, but Jubei, since he lives, pops that battery assault that prevents the TP from coming through. But this fight's getting a little bit weird. Yaren does get the ult down, but it's only onto one hero. What is going on here? Jubei tries to get on the back line again. He pops the cogs, but is trapped up inside of his own trap. He's taken down, and now it looks like things are going to calm down a little bit with Molly Burgos being taken down, or maybe not. Speed TP's in, drops the arena. The spear only hits an illusion, but Double King's still in some trouble. Needs to be able to get the heal from his teammate. He's holding for now, pops the Sunder now, swapping HP with Stonebank, but now he's so damn slow. He's not going to be able to get himself out of the fight. Ryoya coming in with the Swashbuckle doing the damage. Double King has no way out of this. His teammates really just kind of left him to die there as Shaggy and Tib say, sorry, man, you're on your own. They back themselves out, but it's another rough fight for Mystery Machine, and it may not be over. Speed, okay, Speed. Wow. Little bit too far forward. His teammates were too far behind him to help, and that's going to help sort of balance the scales a little bit as they hand one back over.
Yeah, just a game of overextensions, it feels like. They dive so deep on TMM, and then at the end of the day, Speed just walks underneath the Obs ward. They don't abandon their vision just yet, because they know it's going to get dewarded at the end of the day here, but nice nifty little kill there. At the end of the day, though, unfortunately for Double King, got isolated so quickly. You weren't really able to take any aggression from the other cores either. I mean, Tib was forced to sit in the trees and really just watch that entire fight play out without the Primal Roar, not really able to make that turn play. At the same time, Shaggy, he was healing his teammates, but you never saw him actually able to get very aggressive because there is that fear of the Mars getting you in your arena, but he wasn't even forced to pop his BKB. I feel like there just wasn't enough space for that TB to work in as Mali Burgos. Bye-bye.
Not really worth going after that spell steal on that one, as he's going to get blown up. And now Tib was spotted there momentarily by Speed. Looking like they are maybe looking for an angle. Yaren was kind of thinking about it, but I don't know. The cores don't want to go because they've got all this farm in that sort of west side triangle to work with. So without the damage, there's really not a lot to be done to that Beastmaster. But at this point, if you're DogChamp, well, I suppose you don't necessarily need to go chasing after that kill. You will have to deal with the split push eventually, but Tib is not a, say, immediate sort of threat.
Definitely not. I'm also thinking to myself, how do TMM get this fight started? I feel like it's got to be a hookshot from Jubei onto the Bane. If they can put that Bane on dieback, that's a pretty large window for them to go in. Even if they do lose heroes in return, they probably get a smoke after the fact before that Bane is back on the board. At the same time, with such a fast Roche respawn, I'm a little concerned. DogChamp have spent the last 3-4 minutes placing so much of this vision and maintaining this vision because TMM made that one early push towards that bottom lane. So when they scout out this Roche, there's just so much infrastructure already placed here. Control that TMM almost need to smoke behind their opponents, get the hill, and then take the fight. Unfortunately, once DogChamp see that this Roche is alive, it can fall incredibly quickly. Even though there's no death, so, there's not a lot of anti-armor to play with. It's just having Pango plus a PA. This Roche is certainly going to fall quickly, and it's where TMM, they need to scout this out. The Flare will do so, but they also need to get here. Yarn, though, that's a nice pick. That's one of their big team fighters taken off. That's their big spell on the sidelines. Is Yarn a buyback? No. Jubei's in.
Oh god, he went for it, yeah. Just hookshots his way in. Can someone take it? Yes, someone can, but it's Stonebank. So Jubei, it was worth a shot, right? You gotta sort of take that chance, but DogChamp will get the Aegis into their hands, and what do they look to do? This is very sort of tense. Stonebank has 2 lives, so even if they tried to make the initiation there, they'd have to get through him twice. So they're not going to go for it. DogChamp will simply fall back. Yaren's going to be up in about 35, so just wait it out. Get the Winter Wyvern and the Curse back in their hands, or Speed could just make this play right now into Mali Burgos, and there's not a whole lot to be done about that on the Mystery Machine side. They lose a hero, and now they'll lose control of this west side jungle again.
Yep, not much you can do. It's just vision place 6 minutes in the past that they never really had to consider because of where they were playing on the map. I think right now TMM are getting a little bit out veteran right now. They're not really getting that reestablished control. They still certainly are in this game. They even have a lead on a lot of their heroes, especially of this Pugda, who is still massive, but they're not really claiming a spot on the map to play around. They're not forcing their way into these areas, and they're not forcing DogChamp to really come to them, which is a really bad sign. I think they need to kind of take a step back here, just play on one side, just keep these TB illusions in the lane. In terms of split push, TMM should be stellar at that. And with the Boots of Travel Carrier, they certainly can afford to spread out a little bit, but it's just where they've been caught a few too many times.
Well, see the, as you said, Boots of Travel play from Pugna, just trying to get himself out across the map as best as he possibly can, but what's going on here? Tib? Gonna get jumped in on. He'll look for the TP out. Can the bash come through? Yes, it can. That's all Stonebank needs. Has the bash, has the Fan of Knives as well for the little bit of extra damage being dealt, and if you're Tib, really that's the only play you have to make. Go for a TP and pray that a bash doesn't come through, and now, ooh, sucks. He's gonna lose his creep as well, so Stonebank gets even more gold into his hands, and now mid, they've caught out High Shaggy. They'll hit him up with the or not the Arctic Burn, the Winter's Curse, but Shaggy's not easy to bring down, and yeah, Speed is a little overextended, or maybe he's not, because the timing on that spear was very strange. from Molly Burgos, and now the Rubik may end up paying for it.
Ooh.
Time with the
Molly
Ghost
Burgos.
Scepter. Okay. Ryoya doesn't actually want to go charging in any further, so the Rubik gets to live, but that's still not fantastic for them. At least High Shaggy doesn't actually get picked off there. They use a Winter's Curse, and he's going to be just fine, and they might get this tower. The Illusions be able to finish it off once the Glyph wears down. A little bit more. There we go. So, Double King's able to claim that tier 2. Over on the other side of the map, though, you got a PA who's going after a tier 2 of her own. Now they're looking for a kill. Molly Burgos reveals himself in the tree line. He's going to get jumped in on. There's that Ghost Scepter coming into play again, and they're actually going to try and back off with Jubei coming in, but look at that. The dagger comes through. The bash connects. Jubei is still trying to sort of get himself out of the fight, but as he falls back, Speed goes in, drops the arena. They get the spear stunned down. They really do need to be able to get this Pugna kill, and they've got it. Yeah, Ryoya rolls in. Oh my goodness, Play 9. That's aggressive. Or staffs himself up into his opponent's base, but there's really no play to be made there. But now, Jubei's pulling the creeps. Trying to
Jubei.
just delay this as long as he can. He's got a TP too, so he might actually get out of this.
Yeah, and hey, your tier 2 doesn't get taken at the end of the day, at least not immediately, and Stonebank gives up on the push. Unfortunately, as we usually talk about with these killer late game items, Doomsday has almost arrived here, especially for the Pugna. Nullifier is next on deck for Stonebank. Stopped along the way for the Abyssal Blade. Could have kept it a basher, but having that straight up stun is great, and Jubei dies regardless in the top lane. Isn't able to meet up with his teammates in time, unfortunately, even though he definitely could have TP'd out, but it's where he wanted to keep himself out there, if anything, like a living ward. But unfortunately, with this Aegis being reclaimed in a minute, at the very least, DogChamp should peel back a little bit more. Stonebank certainly has to play a little bit safer, but the problem is retreating into farm is exactly what Stonebank wants to do, because once he gets this Nullifier, well, Pugna's not really going to be able to save anybody. He won't even be able to save himself. I mean, he's already popping his BKB so early in these fights. He's always a target for them to jump on top of.
Stonebank just clears the wave, takes the tower. That triple stifling dagger just makes it so easy for him to just sort of clear a path. And, well, Mystery Machine have their work cut out for him, or for them now, trying to deal with this PA, but it's still certainly possible. They've got the lockdown to do it, and certainly will help that the Aegis is now timed out, so we'll see what they can do, but more and more it feels like their execution has to be nearly flawless to be able to get onto these cores.
I'm also looking at Tib. Yarn has been skulking in the trees for such a long time here, and it's actually, I think, a dive bomb. Oh,
Here's Curse coming in. Shaggy. Oh, Shaggy, that's a little bit rough. He's going to get caught by the spear, so he's unable to help Tib. But at this point, your DogChamp, you would much rather get the kill onto Shaggy here, so Tib may start losing some chasing heroes here as Jubei hookshots his way in. That's going to keep Ryoya at bay for just a moment, but not nearly long enough. Shaggy still falls. Jubei is dead. Tib got the chance to TP home, I suppose, so it is something of a silver lining, but really the Pugna was the hero they couldn't afford to lose.
yeah, and at the end of the day, you know, TB gets to play in 2 lanes, gets a little bit more farm. He's very quickly working towards that BKB, but no buybacks available. If we do see DogChamp going for that high ground push, can certainly see this game just continue to raise the stakes, and I believe that's a full Nullifier flying out for Stonebank right now. So especially Molly Burgos, incredibly weak right now. If he ever gets seen by that PA, he's just gonna die, more or less. And at the very least, you know, Stonebank can certainly get a lot of things forced out of him. He's got BKB, he's got Satanic, but he is just so tanky. You're not bursting this PA anymore in this game.
Tier 2 tower going to be taken. Stonebank will knock on the door here of the Tier 3. Mystery Machine not overreacting to that, and, well, on the other side of things, your PA without the Aegis has to at least be a little bit concerned about durability, but, oh, maybe not. He's just going to jump straight in. Molly Burgos once again popping that Ghost Scepter, but now here comes Ryoya, rolling his way forward. Not really connecting onto anyone, but he is pushing a lot of these heroes back, but it's not quite wide enough of a window. Ryoya really did look like he was searching for the actual initiation, and now TMM, this is a little bit weird. They're going to smoke us forward. They're doing this, though, without Shaggy. He's still dead for 5 seconds, so that is going to take a lot of their damage off the table, but The hope is that Double King is just going to be able to do enough by himself to at least find something, as Yarn will get jumped in on, able to hit him with the hook shot, but Speed pops that arena, gets a spear down. The Terrorblade is going to get stunned up. Stonebank comes in looking for the damage, and they found the kill. Double King dead, Jubei gone as well. They're going to try and get onto Tib now as well. Decrep will buy him some time. Enough time for him to blink away, but now Stonebank finds a better target. Shaggy just tries to hold his ground there with the Decrep and the life drain, but that's not a fight he wins, and this isn't a game that TMM will win. They give it one last shot, but when it falls apart, they just throw out the GG.
Yep, no racks claimed either. I think they're very aware that the BA is just simply too big, too many items, can't really play versus that anymore. What a sad way to lose, to be honest. I mean, all it took was a few pickoffs, and then suddenly the game just got so lopsided. Too many items built up by Stonebank, and at the same time, the rest of the lineup was not really skipping a beat either. Both Ryoya and Speed have really every item they could possibly ask for. The team fights just got way too large in scale, and Mystery Machine simply weren't finding their targets. So many times in this game, we see Jubei finding Yarn. It's the only player that he needs to find, but Speed picks up the pieces. He gets the arena. He's so consistently found both the Pugna and the Terrorblade not getting their BKBs off. I think maybe if Double King is able to prepare himself and get the BKB on the spear, we see possibly a much different game play out. But that's also where you pop BKB on Terrorblade, you get isolated from your team, you get blown up all the same. It's not a pretty game plan for you. And I think DogChamp, honestly, early on, kind of got worked. They were certainly falling behind for a lot of those early stages in the game, but it was really once that second batch of items, of course, to note Ryoya's Ags, Speed's BKB, Stonebank's Basher, really with those tools, it was just one or two too many team fights that they lost, and then into the Roche kind of just let them keep their lead.
Yeah, Mystery Machine, I don't know. They just kind of let it get away from them, because take a look at the graphs here. They did have a lead. It was not a massive one by any means. This is 1 or 2K at its height, but it felt like momentum was sort of in their hands, and they had a small lead that they were in position to start building upon. But, well, they just kind of take their eyes off the ball. At the exact same time, DogChamp sort of come into their own in terms of their own power spike. So Mystery Machine fall short. Still a fantastic game for Shaggy. 17-5 in terms of that kill death. That's impressive, but you don't really have anything coming out from any other member of the lineup. Double King in particular, that's twice now ET across these first two series where we have seen a Terrorblade really just struggle to hit that critical mass.
Yeah, and I think for Terrorblade specifically, it's a carry that sometimes you say it's too big to fail. You have too many items, you have too many things. This was not the case in this game. The illusions were just getting cleaned up. You weren't seeing them establish that control. It felt like Mystery Machine were making the decision to get Double King in those positions where he could just keep those waves always pushed in, but they just lost grasp of those movements, of those entrance ways. And I think that's also where DogChamp, I think, really easily outclassed them in their own vision game. Jubei's flares were great, but in regards to him actually getting those big observer wards down, there were just so many times where DogChamp would push into an area with the smoke, ward it up. Mystery Machine would then smoke into their opponents, let those wards sit for 3-4 minutes, and then DogChamp would just come back to that area and then pick everybody off. It just is way too easy for them. Just an oversight that I don't think Mystery Machine can afford, but hey, that's why we have game 2, right?
Game 2 is going to be coming up in just a little bit here, so we'll see if DogChamp can get that clean 2-0 sweep and sort of lift themselves up from the bottom of those standings, or Mystery Machine are going to be able to salvage a 1-1 split here and put some points on the... So with that in mind, we'll be stepping away for a moment, but the Game 2 draft is just a couple minutes away, so stick around and back for that next game.